like I went. It's like I went embarrassingly too hard for red jumpsuit apparatus.
You did?
Well, for all of them, dude.
Walking Blind is hosted by overly emotional dudes who overthink and overanalyze everything. Nothing the hosts say should be taken as medical advice or opinion. They're not professionals, and they're about to make that very clear. So just kick back and hang with them, because you've earned it.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Walking Blind Podcast, episode 34? 34 already?
34, dude.
I'm Mike, he's Mike, and we got a special guest. I'm gonna let you introduce yourself because you've done a lot for this show, man.
What's up, guys? My name's Raul. You guys call me Raul, but it's okay.
I know. I realized it the other night. I was like, oh shit, like we've been saying this wrong.
Yeah.
We've definitely been saying this wrong.
You know what? I don't correct people anymore. So like everybody at work, like they were calling me Raul at first, and I just went with it. And then they're like, so what do you like? Like, what do you go by? And I'm like,
my name's
I'm gonna be
Raul.
honest with you, bro. Like I go by Raul, and they can't pronounce it, so I have to like tell them like, we'll say Paul and then change it to Raul. And, yeah.
So what was this sounds cheesy as fuck, but like what's the origin of that? Like how did it become, how is it?
Raul.
Yeah.
My dad, so me and my dad have the same name, and he's Raul as well. Like his parents call him Raul, so. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So we've been
Short
fucking
origin.
up for 30 something episodes at this point, but you actually came out like we've got mutual friends, we've got homies. Ty has been around, and then now we've been kind of going through the
name dropped every episode.
Every episode. Ty's a half problem, half legend around these parts. You know what I mean? But we've been kind of going through like the little hardcore timeline over here, the little hardcore history, and there's a lot of like more mutual connections than we ever expected for there to be.
It's random. It's funny. Like we have all these connections, but like, so how did you guys meet? Oh, we met through Ty. Like all these bands that we know, like, or guys that are in bands that we know through like similar friends and stuff, and it's a connection through Ty, who works at Budweiser.
I bet we don't. Obviously, let's not do this now, but I'm sure if we like were to sit down and be like naming the shows that we either were playing or we just happened to be at, like we've had a crossover.
Nitty Gritty Fest.
Yeah.
I was working that show actually.
Oh no.
Okay, yeah.
Dude, that was so that for me that show will forever mean a lot to me because so for anyone who doesn't know, we're from the Inland Empire, and at the time, no bragging rights, rarely got to play the IE. Like
I think I was there. I was there.
Yeah.
I was there.
Yeah. And
shit.
And so like for us, it's one of those things where we were like so excited, but then like it kind of there's like that one moment where we're like, what if the IE doesn't care about us anymore? You know what I mean? Because we've been gone so long, we rarely got to play like anywhere close. It wasn't Riverside, but it was close enough, you know, Rancho. So we were like nervous, and then that show went off.
That show was nuts.
There was like literally every band was there. Every band played.
You know, I will always remember that show because I got into the biggest fight with my girlfriend at the time because of somebody else's girlfriend in said group. We won't name names here, but I think we all know who we're talking about. One of the members of NBR's girlfriends.
Oh.
And I just...
in my mind, I'm like, we were like dating.
No, it wasn't you. Definitely wasn't you. And I remember just like Martin had, was like, hey, we're doing this. I'll put you on the guest list. I was like, okay, cool. And he's like, I don't know if I can swing you a +1 or not. And then I was like halfway there when he was like, oh, I can. And I was like, oh, well, I'm just came by myself. I'm already, so I went and like I was working the merch table, right? And I was sitting there and like I said, what's up to Shay? Shay came by. I was like, hey, what's up? Like
Shay today?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. And then that spun into text messages being said, Mike's over here flirting with girls because you're not around.
Oh my
gosh, I'm like,
dude,
you don't even fucking know my girlfriend. Like you went out of your way to find her and find her page and message her. just to cause drama. And then it was just like this whole, I was like, yo.
And then it's like, you don't even know who Shay is. Like, and how like we've known her for, that's so stupid.
So it was, I just remember being so, like, I remember watching everybody play, but just being like, my phone being blown up. And like, he's like, you fucking asshole message. I'm like, I'm literally I'm watching my friends play. There's nobody around me. What the fuck are you talking about? So, damn, that's crazy. That was a while back.
That was a good show.
Dude, that's like, do Counterparts play that?
Yeah.
I think Sleeping Giant played that.
Yeah. Rotting Out.
Dude, that was the first time I
Stick to Your Guns, I think, too.
Was it Six Your Guns?
Did they play that?
I don't
know if it was that one.
I just remember that being the first time I saw Counterparts live, and I was like, fuck.
Like,
this
I
band
get
is
it.
so good.
Being as an Ocean played.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a bunch of bands that played.
Wait, so you were working that show?
Yeah, like the security and stuff. Security.
No shit.
Because I'm like the toughest guy in the world, apparently.
It's like, we need a big guy to stand by the door. You good?
I know, right?
Yeah, all right, cool. That's crazy.
I don't like fights, bro.
I don't either.
That's why I try to walk away the other day.
Let's talk about this. So we we were at Emo Night the other night. You know, for those of you who don't know or don't remember from last episode, we did a little guest DJ spot at Emo Night Pomona. It was the 5-year anniversary of Emo Night Pomona. And the fucked up thing is we were competing with Emo Night LA at the Glass House.
Yeah.
And we didn't know. I got there and they're like, yeah, Emo Night LA is over there. I'm like, oh, what the fuck? So I was like, kind of like, okay, it's not going to be that rowdy. And it got pretty rowdy.
It was good.
There's a lot of there were a lot of video because I was like, oh, okay, sick. Here's Mike with his wine glass.
His raccoon shirt.
Yeah, but so like the problem with Emo Night at like DBA, right? It's free, and you know, just random people walking off the street, and there's some people that just don't know what this world is or like what you know what these shows are like. So there was a dude there jumping around, like kind of jump, like push moshing, you know, whatever, nothing too aggressive. And this dude, I guess like defending his girlfriend or something like that, who must have gotten pushed or shoved, like first like shoves the guy and the guy doesn't notice. He's just thinking, oh, we're in a pit. Yeah. And then he comes back in, the dude just like socks him in the back of the head. So we're on stage, and then I see you kind of like go after the dude and like tell him to calm down or whatever, and then his chick gets in your face.
She tries to like swing on me.
And
first of all, I tell him, dude, it's an emo show. Like, are you really trying to fight at an emo show? Like, I had an emo DJ set, and so I mean, I just see him like I see him like hit the guy. So I just like kind of push him out of the way and push him back, say, hey, dude, like it's not like this isn't the place for it. Yeah. So as I'm doing that, like his girlfriend thinks I'm gonna try to fight him or something. Yeah. So like she starts like saying like, oh, what the fuck, man? I'm like, I don't know, dude. Like you tell me what's going on. And so long story short, I stop him, and then she starts like punching me and pushing me. So Jesse comes. You guys are like looking at me like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah, we were like,
you could tell like the music's still playing, but both me and Mike are just.
And so I see like Jesse like jumping on stage and like singing, and then I see his face go from like a smile to like so quick, and I'm like, oh dude, no. And he starts walking towards me. I'm like, dude, we're good. Yeah. And he's like, you sure? I'm like, yeah, dude, it's not a big deal.
Well, what like kind of like made me stop was that afterwards you went back to the bar.
You told me that, yeah.
And then I see like the dude talking to his friend and pointing at you, and then they both follow you. So I'm like standing up on that little amp that I was on, and I was just watching. And I was kind of like, okay, if anything happens, I'm jumping off this stage. Like we're rolling too deep in that place for anything to happen. And then you come back with beers, like looking all happy. It's like, all right, we're good. Let's keep going.
Dude, did you guys hear what happened to Raul? No, what? Dude, he got jumped at Emo Night.
Dude,
dude, there's no living that down.
I would never live that down.
I think what would have made it even better is I had hit up Mike a little bit before, and I was like, dude, do you want to like go all out and just get like Toms and skinny jeans and real deep V-necks? And he's like, I can't do the deep V. I was like, oh, all right, fine. And then he shows up with outfits for us anyways. But yeah, just imagine like we got into a fight and we're wearing Toms and like the tightest jeans.
I know, man. Seriously.
Well, that's what I mean. Yeah, it's just fights in general. Shows are just always funny to me anyway. Yeah. But if you think about back then, like the Scene Kid fights.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And then Adrian's like, I didn't go to the hardcore shows because I wanted to stay away from all that stuff. And here you guys are. Right. And we're like, come on, man. Sorry.
It was good though. It ended up being fun.
It ended up being really fun, man. I was a little worried because when we were putting together the playlist, we were like, let's go for the sing along bangers that like maybe aren't necessarily 1,000% our cup of tea, but we know them, and you know we're gonna sing along. And then we were like, but we gotta. Mike was like,
it's the guilty pleasure set.
Yeah, we gotta throw that one, you know, that one street cred song in there. So we threw AFI in there. But the rest of it was legit, like guilty pleasure.
It was
like,
guilty pleasure, for sure.
Did we open with Simple Plan, Addicted?
Dude, that was like the perfect song to open to, by the way. Took me back, man.
And then like we played that little intro. We played our show intro, but we kind of changed it for Emo Night. And I like, you know, I had a moment where I couldn't tell if people were booing or if they were saying woo. So I just, you know, powered through. I was like, yeah, let's go.
No, I think all 10 of our listeners were were like, oh yeah, I get it. In on the joke.
But yeah, that was fun, man. And that was your first show in, you said like 2 years?
I haven't been to a show like since, like 2-3 years, probably like pre-pandemic.
Damn.
Have you been to like concerts and stuff like that?
I mean,
though?
I've been to like
like
some concerts, but not
little
like
seats,
nothing where I could like
things
mosh or anything like that. Like if I mosh now, like I don't even know what would happen to my body, dude. Like I was jumping for Emo Night and I felt sore the next day. And I'm like, dude, this is sad. Like I'm either out of shape or old or both. It's both.
Dude, because I had that stupid wine glass in one hand, apparently squeezing the microphone in the other, and just in one hand, my right arm was sore the next day.
Yeah. No, it was a good night though.
Yeah, it was fun, man. So before we jump in, I know producer Mike over here has got some stuff planned for us today, but do you want to jump into our mental health check?
Yeah, let's do our mental health check first, and then we'll do our. It's like literally gonna be like a 10-second little segment, but yeah. So for any new listeners, our mental health check is basically we just talk about how we've been mentally this week, and if there's anything attributing to that, you know, either, you know, what kind of coping things are we doing, or what do we find ourselves doing, or what are we not doing that, you know, is adding to whatever mental strain we have this week or last week, I guess.
Yeah.
Mike, do you want to start us off tonight?
Yeah, man. I'm good. I'm just, you know, it's hard to find electricians out here. But other than that, everything's been pretty much on track. Work's been a little interesting. I had to, work got to see a little side of me that they haven't seen yet because, long story short, some shit went down where they're like, we're talking about policies and the way things are and the way things should be and things like that. Mm-hmm. And then finally, I'm generally pretty quiet. I step back and just like listen. And there was some shit that like, I hate to use this term, but that like triggered me, that I was like, all right, hold on. And so I step in and I'm like in the most professional language possible, being like, nah, this is bullshit, you know? And they were like, oh. And then like I get an email off on the side saying like, oh, well, it was presented as this. And I go, that's not what it was, right? And I'm breaking down everything how it was. And then it's just like this big back and forth, and like, you could tell like people are upset, but I'm just like, no, dude, like this is what happened. I'm standing my ground. Yeah. This is, you know, what it is. And anything otherwise that you're hearing is not the case. And you can ask anybody else that was in the room. Right. And then that led to like, oh, okay, never mind type shit. Right. Like, and I don't want to go too in depth into it because it's like all company policy stuff like that. But it's like, it gets to a point where like, when you're dealing with people, especially when you're dealing with people like that are in a higher position than you, you're like, don't twist what I'm telling you for your benefit. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Don't twist what I'm telling you so it makes your case look better with your bosses. Right. Like, cause that's not what happened. And I'm like very generally like I pick and choose my battles, but this was one where they were like, oh, okay, I see. And I'm very eloquent in telling people to fuck off sometimes. So, you know, that was like a little mini win, I guess. I don't know. I'm sure it's going to backfire me at some point in time, but we'll see. But other than that, man, yeah, Emo Night was fun. We got a mix today from Kelly for the Torture Culture record, and I'm stoked. I sent it to you.
Yeah, for it being a little bit later.
Yeah.
For it being like hey, I just dialed in tones. We're like, fuck, this is better than like
put it out.
Yeah.
Heck yeah, man.
How about you, man? Where you at?
Where am I at, man? It's been a long, like, month and a half. So, like you guys know, but so my nephew passed away in June 13, unexpectedly. So, like he was only 7 years old. So, I mean, something like that. Like, I feel like if your parents passed away or somebody that you knew passed away and they were sick and you kind of knew it was coming, it's a little easier to deal with.
Yeah.
But when it's like a sudden loss, you know, it definitely takes a toll on you. So, it's been a hard month, man, but you know, the family's been like just like rallying together. So I work for Liquid Death, as you guys know. The company's been like amazing. They gave me like time off that I needed. So like I took like a week off at first, and they were like, "Dude, like take as much as you need. You know, like we get it. You know, we get it." So they like donated a decent amount of money to like my family for like the burial and stuff.
Liquid Death did?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, and then
Dude,
they sent like flowers to my sister, and then they were offering to pay. So we had like a thing called like a meal train. So basically, like you sign up for like taking like the person like comfort meals and stuff.
Yeah.
So they were like, well, like let's pay for food, let's do this. We're like, dude, it's covered, don't worry. Like you guys have done enough. Like they really took care of me. So like, and I've been getting like emails and texts from everybody like asking where I am, and you know, it's been a really hard month, but you know, like the family's really like rallied around and stuff. And so like the day before my nephew passed, he was swimming at my sister's house, which is his godmother. And I guess it was like a really good day, and I was kind of bummed out that I missed it. Like I wasn't invited, and I'm always invited to like all that stuff.
You're like, what the fuck?
I don't do what the fuck. Like all of a sudden you guys are swimming and I'm out there and it's like fucking 100 degrees. But yeah, so they swam. My sister had a GoPro and she was recording everything, and like he had like the greatest day. Like you could just tell he had so much fun. So my nephew has he had cerebral palsy. So we think that was part of what happened. So like we think he may have rolled over and it might have caused him to like stop breathing. So yeah, so just seeing him like having a really good day the day before, it was pretty awesome to see that. So
And you were really close with him, right?
oh yeah, so like I mean me and my sister lived together for a bit, so he was always like around. Like that was my dude, man.
Yeah.
So it was pretty tough. So, but yeah, so we had the funeral finally after like a month or so, last Monday. So it was nice to like just finally get everything taken care of and you see all the planning that we did. Obviously my sister went through a lot for losing her son and stuff. So what we ended up doing was we took care of like all the like the arrangements and all that stuff, because I mean, how could you plan that, you know? So me and my sister took care of it. It was good, man, and we it was pretty cool to see like everything that we planned and stuff like kind of coming into fruition and stuff. So dude, his plot is like so sick. It's like right on like a corner, and it's like right underneath a tree. So it's so sick. So
That shade.
yeah, dude. I'm like, oh, we went there on what was it, Saturday or Sunday, and we just like hung out with like my family. And stuff. So yeah, man, it was nice, and went back to work finally, and man, it's been a busy week. The brand's taking off. It's doing great. But you know what? It was nice to have like a really good like break from like reality and just like be home and
family.
You know, like lament and just feel like just let everything out that you need to. Like, dude, like for the first week, I was like crying for every little thing. Dude, I was like I'm watching like Disney Plus, and like my nephew loved Moana, and like I would see it, I'm like, oh no, like start just bawling, dude. And but yeah, man, I mean, it was a really good week this week, and I think that set the tone for it. You know, just finally letting my nephew go and you know, laying him to rest, and yeah, man, it was a busy week at work. Finally being back. Emo Night was great. Yeah, dude, it was, even though some guy tried to fight me.
Like, now's not the time.
I know, for real, dude. I was like, and like when his girl was like, anyways, his girl was trying to hit me, and I just looked at him like, I'm like, bro, come on. Like, really, bro?
Dude,
come on.
And not to like change the subject, she ended up behind me on stage at some point, and I was like, what the fuck are you doing here? Like, I wanted to just like kick her off, but I was like, let me just, you know. But I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah. But yeah, man, it was good. It was good to like recharge my batteries, I guess you could say. You know, just to take that time off. And
this just to kind of go off of, you know, how you're doing better now.
Yeah.
What did you find? Some things where you mentioned like just being able to be with family is also a good like way to just recharge and but is there anything that you kind of found yourself kind of doing during that time to kind of, you know, either get you to feel either like a pick me up or something to help you relax?
Yeah, definitely. Well, in his case, so I guess thinking about like life after death, or like what happens when we die, and like thinking the best case scenario. So, people say like when you go to heaven, like you're complete. So thinking like my nephew never spoke a word, he never walked. So finally feeling like he was actually able to do all that stuff. I think that was pretty cool.
Dang.
Getting emotional, bro.
Does he? Did your sister have other kids, or was
Yeah,
it
she has 2 others.
Okay.
A boy and a girl.
So I'm sure that also helps too.
Yeah,
like, you
definitely.
have other kids.
Yeah, man. I mean, we were swimming yesterday with the kids, and I will never go a day without telling them I love them. You know?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Do they understand? Are they old enough to understand, or is it like
The youngest is 3, so she probably won't remember some stuff. I mean, she'll have pictures, but that's about it.
Yeah.
The other, his little brother's 5. He kind of understands what's going on, and you can see a little bit of like mood changes in him, and a little like
it'll hit every
yeah,
now
like
and
I
then.
mean, the day that it happened, he took like a random nap in the middle of the day, and he never naps. So like
Yeah.
so there's something going on with him, but you could definitely see it. He's having some sort of like emotional like
Yeah.
feel towards it, and but yeah, my she's doing a little better. We've been checking up on her and making sure she's good, and yeah, man, family.
Yeah.
Family's too important not to rely on times like this.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine like, it's the idea of losing a child. You know what I mean? Like you're a child. Like that's tough, man.
Yeah,
like that's
definitely.
You don't-
that just
You don't plan for that. There's no planning
definitely
for
not.
that. There's no preparing for that. Like,
that, and there's always that saying like your child should never go before you type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you hear that.
and it's man, it's heavy and it's a lot to take on, especially I feel like you're stronger than me in a way, because I feel like I'd still be like a wreck right now.
Dude, it's been so hard to like not show emotion, but you know what, like being with family was great. Taking the time off from work and just like I was just like doing stuff, like just going out and like
Staying busy.
Just staying busy and being with family, being with friends, all that stuff, man. It's been good. It's been it's been good to use like that as like a coping mechanism for what we're going through and stuff. And going through photos and stuff and just seeing like how happy, like every photo we had of him is like smiling and like laughing. And I'm like,
sick.
this kid was like he got his way with everything. So like we'd be at my mom's, right, and she'd be watching like the news or like one of her like Lifetime shows, because she's like 60 something years old and she loves Lifetime. So he'd be like on the couch and he'd start crying because he didn't want to watch it.
Yeah.
So he'd cry and cry and cry. He'd close his eyes, and then we're like, okay, he obviously wants to watch like Moana.
Right.
So we put it on, and then he'll do this thing where his eyes are closed and he'll kind of like open it to see what we're doing. And he's like, oh, okay, they have it on, and he kind of smirk. So he knew what he was doing, man. Like that kid was smart.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's Mike just recently watched Moana as a whole here, actually, because
What'd you think?
It's really good.
It's so good. It really is.
so good.
It is.
And Coco.
yeah. So we normally like we'll do the podcast and then we'll like eat dinner and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And with Elliot being here, he's like got the TV on. It's always like something like Encanto or whatever. And then Mike's like, it's crazy to see these movies like start to finish, because with his nieces, they just fast forward to the parts that they like.
Yeah, or they'll like replay song. Replay song.
He's like, I never knew this movie was about this.
Yeah.
It's
That's cool. It makes me happy to hear that like you guys still, you guys went swimming yesterday and stuff, because, a lot of times when stuff like this happens, it's really hard to move on, but doing things like something like swimming, like everyone having, that's like you're honoring that person, because you guys are living, you guys are having, you guys continue on living your life for them, and it's cool when you can continue to build those memories, and they're still, I feel like they're still there.
Yeah,
my biggest loss was my grandmother, and it's been fun, but over time, like you have those memories that I feel like are sad when you think about them. At least for me, the first couple, it took me a while, but it was hard. There's certain memories that were just hard.
Yeah. Oh,
and then now, when I look back at those hard memories, they're like, they make me happy. I use those as like my motivation. When I'm in a funk. Those memories that used to like break me are like now like what I used to like they bring me happiness, because it's like such
good.
cool moments.
Dude, it's the same thing with my grandmother. I don't know if I told the story just to you or to, like on the podcast of how she had like dementia, and then she'd have moments where she'd like click and register. But there's still a stretch like right there, passing through San Dimas, like I think it's where the 210 branches off, but you can just keep going through San Dimas, like where those palm trees, like every time I drive through there, I get a little emotional because I'm like, fuck, this is where like, this was the last real conversation that we had, because like we were driving through there and the palm trees triggered her to like come back to reality, and then she just had this like 20 minutes of like the most cognizant, like, you know, talking to me about everything, and then she just reverted back like it, like from one point to the next. But I still remember that stretch, so every time I'm there I'm like, this is but
yeah, man. But no, it's been a good week. I'm definitely in a better place than I was 4 weeks ago.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and I remember talking to you because we were gonna get you on earlier. And then I think like we had offered you the week or that Monday that the funeral was, and you're like, and I was like, are you cool talking about this? Is it, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really healthy to talk about it, you know, like just to share like what it is that you're feeling. I mean, obviously I'm not like in a great state, but I'm in a better state,
right?
You know, so yeah, it's definitely helped being back at work, being back with family. You know, my girl's been great. She's been like so strong, and like, I mean, because obviously like she's been with me forever, and so she knows them pretty well too. So it was like she lost a nephew. So I mean, for her to like lose him also, but also be like a rock for me when I wasn't like feeling great.
That's huge.
I mean, even when I'm like getting mad about the dumbest shit, because you know sometimes when you're going through shit, you start getting mad about like the dumbest. I got mad about, what the heck did I get mad at? It was like something so stupid, and I got mad, and she was just like cool with it.
She's like, I get what.
And then like,
you're being a dick right now.
And then about like 20 minutes later, I was like, I'm sorry. I see what I did. I'm sorry. But yeah, man, she's been great. Being with family's been great. So yeah, man. Thank you guys for reaching out to you, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Yeah. You know, is that the GoFundMe, is that still up, or is that?
I mean, it's still up. I don't know how to turn it off. So I'm not gonna lie, I don't know how to turn it off. So I mean, people have like donated like a couple bucks here and there, but the funeral's already been paid for. So the money now we're kind of just putting away for like mostly for like my niece and nephew, like his brother and sister, just if they ever need anything in the future. So yeah, man.
Dude, I'll still plug it.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you guys.
We'll throw it on with this episode too. Like,
cool, man.
You know, that's support the family any way we can. You know,
and as if I didn't like already like we can make jokes about how like rad we think like Liquid Death is and stuff, but like even hearing that now, I'm like, fuck, dude, like,
yeah, dude,
what a cool
dude, like so. After my first week of like taking off for like his passing, the VP like of the company reached out. He's like, hey, just checking in and see how things are going. And I'm like, yeah, dude, you know, we're going through this, we're doing this. And then I started talking about work, and he's like, dude, like, stop fucking talking. Like, I don't care about work right now. Like, I want to know about like how you're feeling. He's all like, worry about your family and let your work family take care of what's going on out here. So yeah, man, they definitely stuck out for me. So
that's sick, man. That like, it makes me like the company even more.
I know. I'm like proud.
Yeah, we're like we're already fanboys, you know. But dude, that's awesome, man. Well, Mike, where are you at?
For me, I feel like mentally, I feel like I'm in like a good place. I think I've finally, you know, it's like one of those things where I've been able to do a little bit of my own, like listening to to my own advice and just a lot of stuff we talk about, you know, and I really have tried to like take inventory of like what's pressing, what is important to focus on now, what's not, and what's not like I just don't have that kind of energy, I find, to focus on that kind of stuff. So I think that's been very helpful. You know, I'm slowly, at first it was like, I'm trying to like do things like to be healthier, like exercise. Now it's at the point where like, it's not even a choice anymore because we're getting ready for shows. And so that's going to hopefully, I think that tends to help me a lot when I get back into that groove of, cause it's not just that I'm exercising and running, but it's like the singing part of it too, which has always been therapeutic for me. And then going back to, you know, it's weird. It's so hard to I'm sure people who've done music and left it and come back to it, it's just so weird because these songs are just different now.
Yeah.
They're just like different. Like they like some of them still hit in certain ways, but it hits different when I like coming back to these songs after so long, you know. So I'm excited because I feel like that's gonna do a lot for me, and I feel like you know, things are gonna be changing in the next couple months for me. So I'm hoping to just ride this little wave I'm on right now. Which is good.
Now we are going to bring up the fact that Burner State was on the radio.
Oh, yeah. I knew that in my notes.
We are going to mention. So I feel like what you were referencing kind of, you know, leans more towards the NBR realm of things because we have some, you know, cool stuff going on that side of things. But Burner State was on the radio, and I was giving Ty, once again, Ty gets a shout out in the show.
Every episode.
Yeah, I was giving Ty shit. I was like, hey, man, fucking radio star over here. Radio. He's like, I'm still hyped about it, you know. That's exciting.
Yeah.
You know.
It's like fun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I think the fun part for me is seeing the other dudes in Burner State like get real excited about it, right? Like, because I'm seeing them like, holy shit, like we're doing something like really fucking cool, and I'm like, dude, hell yeah, that's sick.
Yeah, and it's cool, and I want them to be happy about this. Like this is nice.
It's a win. It's a win. Yeah.
Anytime you can get any positive feedback, it could have very easily gone the other way.
Way south.
You know, you could have 5,000 people who dig it,
Yeah.
but if the first 6 people just are happy with the guys who don't dig it are the ones who call in, you know what I mean? So I was trying to be like voice of reason without like shitting on everything.
Yeah.
Like I was trying to be like, hey guys, and like, hey, just, you know, we like these songs.
Anytime you put yourself out there like that, it becomes like a thing.
Yeah, and you know, it's kind of as it's now, even more so as it's happening, and I really didn't know what this show was. I had no idea.
I don't listen to the radio at all.
I don't either.
Yeah.
They apparently so they took over for was it Mark in the morning or
What's it, 95?
it's a KLOS 95.5.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
They took over like that show itself, the Heidi and Frank. They have a pretty cool story in the sense that they had a segment when they were first starting, and then they got fired, and then they were like, "Well, we want to keep doing it," so they did a podcast.
Sick.
And their podcast like took off, and then when I'm sure like people were like, "How the fuck do you not know who that is?"
You liar!
But I think it was Mark in the morning, whoever the main guys were, when they were like retiring or leaving, they were the ones who were like, you need to bring this show to replace it. Like, this is who you need to bring back. And so they came back, and now they're doing awesome. And
This is a side note. Like, I've always thought about radio, but I always wonder, like, do I have the ability to like not only talk about things on the fly and stuff like that, but like, would I also be able, because like those hosts run the board.
Yeah.
Right? Like, they're in the show running the board, like hitting the fucking sound effects and stuff like that. Like, we haven't even programmed. We have a sample pad here that has sound effects. We've never used them. Like, you know, like we use it for the most basic functionality ever. So it's like, would you have that ability to just be every single day? Like, we do this once a week, and we're like, just on it every single morning. Like, to have like a huge, you know, even if it's just a regular radio show every single day, like.
Yeah.
Do you have enough content to talk about? Do you have enough? And I'm sure there's producers that say, talk about this, but you still have to like on the fly.
well, even I don't know if you listened to any of the segments. The segment before was interesting too.
I'll be completely honest with you. I didn't realize what was going on until like after, right? Because I was like, I had so much other shit going on. And then I was at work, and I get on and I'm like, wait, a radio show, a competition? What's happening? And I see all our friends reposting. I'm like, I'm too late to this. You know?
Well, dude, that's how I felt when like Gerald was explaining it to me. Because in my mind, dude, I've never liked contests of any kind. Like, I've never done that. I mean, I mean, like MBR has done that. Like,
I'm too insecure to. Actually, I did it once with Mikey Diamonds. I did the like Power 106, who's next type thing.
Were you next?
I was on there for a little bit. I was on there for a while, but then it kind of fizzled out. You know?
And you didn't tell anyone, did you?
Nope. Didn't say shit.
News to me. Like, MBR got to be on like I can't remember if it was X103.9 or 106.7, but we were on local band Spotlight.
Yeah.
And I remember that was cool, like to hear yourself on the radio. So like, this whole thing was rad. I thought Gerald did such a good job. Our guitar player Gerald, I thought he did such a good job. Because normally, and like for MBR, I do all the interviews.
Yeah.
Like no matter what, I do all the interviews, and then or somebody will do the interview with me. We'll do it together, or we'll do it as a band. But I handle all that kind of stuff. And so with this, like, it was one of those things where I was like, I'll step in if I need to, but Gerald was so like, because he was like, dude, this show's about like he's a listener.
So he knew.
He participates. Like he's been a caller on the show.
Interesting.
Yeah, he's like,
cool.
he was like all nervous because he's like, dude, what if I get karma? Because he shit on a band basically. This is a long time ago, time ago. He had, and so he was like, oh, what if I get it back? But
That's what you got to prepare for with those competitions, man. Those contests.
Yeah, but for this, I don't know. I just felt like, I was just like, you know what? He's I was like, he can do this. There's how much history of our band is there to share? You know what I mean? Like, there's not a whole lot, but I thought he did such a good job. He handled the introduction so well. Like pretty early in it, they had brought a band that is like previously like won the show or they've gone on to like get signed and all stuff, and so they brought him back as like guest host or guest judges basically, and they're young. Like the singer is like 17 years old. This 17-year-old girl, and then her brother is like 20, so they're like super young, and so they bring him on, and Gerald just like really quick says something like I don't know. They set up so nicely for him to just be like. He's like, they're old. They are old. We are old enough to literally be their parents, But the way he worded it was so like it was perfect, and so I felt like that kind of was like it kind of set the tone. Like, to me,
they got a good sense of humor.
Yeah. And so it was cool. It was rad. It was. I was excited, for the band in general, and then for my guys. My guys were really excited, and it's nice to get like validation, especially because it's like,
definitely.
It's nice to hear from our friends and family. Yeah. Obviously, that's great to hear. But this is like putting yourself out there,
way out there.
Dude, the first caller is like an older person, and he's from Texas, and he's like hardcore, like, I really liked it, because as soon as he started talking, I was like, oh no, but no, we got the stays, and whenever this drops, if it's before Friday, you can still vote. You can still go on the Heidi and Frank show, and then type in "stay or go," and it should take you to the page, and you just vote "stay or go," and it'll tell you where we sit as far as like percentages. Right now, the last I checked, I think we were like 97%, which is pretty rad. So yeah, that was fun. That was cool. I guess the biggest thing that we would like to come out of it, and I didn't know this either. There's another thing too when like the more Gerald was like telling us about it, but like they were one of the sponsors for Punk Rock in the Park.
Oh, okay.
So like No Effects, all those bands. Yeah. So I was just like, what the fuck? I was like, dude.
Yeah, if you can get onto something like that, that'd be sick.
I'd love to do that. So yeah, hopefully, I don't know how this like works as far as what votes mean as far as later on, because I know there's other bands that have like high percentage votes too. So
yeah,
I don't know. It'd be cool. It'd be cool to play one of their events, but other than that, it was a really cool experience, and thankfully we got a good response.
That's awesome.
So,
when you started Burner State, we always had the joke like, what if the little fun side project becomes the big band? This seems like here's a good step in the right direction. Let's just hope that people don't want the ska.
I mean, we've already. I mean, it's getting phased out pretty quickly here.
Yeah,
it was nice that we were really thinking like we're gonna have like a lot of ska, like ska punk stuff.
Yeah,
and like we have it like in like maybe 2 or 3 songs, and it's not even really that.
You guys just start leaning heavier.
Yeah, right.
So
that was fun. Burner State has a show July 24th in Santa Ana at Stages.
That's right.
Um,
Mixed bag on that one.
yeah, it's like we're jumping on. It's like basically a tour package and then locals, but it should be a good mix. A lot of some heavier bands and then pop punk, indie stuff all over the place. So
Nice.
yeah,
Stages is fun, man.
it's cool.
Yeah, we played at Stages for Tough Love.
Mm-hmm.
It was a good set. It was fun times.
Fun times.
We have a video that we posted from that on the of No Bragging Rights on the Walking Blind YouTube channel, which I think we won our fight because I haven't heard anything else.
Is it back? Is it on?
It's up there.
Okay. Sick.
So, thanks YouTube. Let's jump into this little segment that Mike has put together for us.
So I don't even know what to call it. I'm just saying then versus now. So I'm gonna just say I'm gonna just say a topic. So this is all gonna be because we all come from the hardcore scene. The main theme or topic is hardcore shows.
Yeah.
Hardcore scene.
Yeah.
And
So, before we do that, what was the band that really got you into like
oh
shit.
like straight up like hardcore music?
Man, so it's funny, like my like background for like hardcore actually came from my sister. So she's the mom of my nephew that passed. So she's 3 years older than me. So I was a freshman when she was a senior.
So she's how old?
So she's 35. I think she just turned 35.
Do we know your sister?
No, maybe
We're all
probably
the same-
not.
same age range.
So she she would always like go to shows and stuff, and I was like 12 and she was like 15. She was going to like Skateland in Whittier, and do you remember Skateland?
Yeah, dude.
I'm saying, so my first show was like 12 years old, going to Skateland, seeing like the metal versus hardcore shows and stuff. So it was more so like metal that I was into at first, and then I think like the first like heavy band I remember like with breakdowns was like Hatebreed. I started listening to.
That's fair.
And then it went into like Have Heart, and then like the whole straight edge movement and stuff, and it just went from there, man.
Were you Edge?
I was. Who wasn't?
That's
Who
fair
wasn't?
also.
Yeah.
I was Edge before I knew what Edge was.
Yeah.
For a little bit, and then once I broke, I was done. But
It's so funny, like claiming Edge when you're like 13 is like,
Yeah, like, it doesn't matter at this
I know,
point.
right? Really,
Yeah.
for real. But yeah, so like I think those are the biggest bands that I remember, like just being super influential, like for me for sure. And then like just going to like the shows, like the local shows, like throughout like the IE, like LA and stuff. So like I remember like going to see like Terror, and then seeing like them play with the Warriors. I'm like, dude, the Warriors are sick, by the way.
dude, Warriors. Actually, dude, Michael, can you please tell them what your first show was in a hardcore band?
Yeah, that is fair. When I first, because I started like I was playing like metalcore,
More
bands.
metalcore stuff.
and then when I jumped into Creative Void, a hardcore band, our first show was with Terror, Stick to Your Guns, The Warriors. Who else was on that show?
Where was this at? Because I was probably there.
No, it was in San Jose.
Okay, it was.
Yeah. Fuck, who else was on that show?
I don't remember.
Somebody else was on that show, and then us. And
Yeah.
we were like just this random oddball. Like a lot of what we used to get when we played in Creative Void was people going like, "I've never heard a local band sound good like this." And we're like, "Thanks for the shitty comment." We're like, "I've never heard a local band sound cool." We're like, "Cool, man. Thanks, dude." But the funniest. Mike came up for that show because he saw the lineup. He's like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
Came up. But the funniest part about that show was not like it. You know, we played with who we played with. We did what we did. We played on the floor because we didn't want to be up on the stage. We knew that like, hey, this was the start of Creative Void playing on the floor. And Jake wore a white basketball jersey, white basketball shorts, angel hat, and it was just like we're like,
No, he was angeled out. It's like the black. I don't know. Anyway.
what hat was he wearing?
He's probably wearing like an A's hat.
An A's
or
hat.
something from the Bay. Yeah. Even though he's from here.
That makes sense. And it was just like, all right, this is cool. We're playing a hardcore band. Like, you know, that show was sick.
And then now Jake has signed almost all those bands.
All those bands.
Oh yeah, didn't Warriors release through Pure Noise too?
Yeah.
Damn.
I remember we jumped the Warriors van because their van, the battery went out. And so we were in the rain jumping their van because we were like, we got
sketchy.
your back.
Dude,
So,
fucking whose idea was it to drive back on the one? during a
Steve.
storm.
It was Steve. And the
God.
problem was Austin and I had to be back at work. The show was either on I think it was on a Sunday night.
It was a
and
Sunday
we had
night.
to be at work on Monday.
Oh shit.
So we drove up and then we let them drive back down. So I remember waking up and it's a fucking storm. Like it's raining, it's pouring rain. It looked like Jurassic Park outside the window, right?
Gross.
And I remember waking up in the back of the Tuna and I get up and I look out the van window and there's just a cliff and there's the ocean. And I'm like, where the fuck are we? And Steve's like, took us down the one, blood. We're good. Like, okay.
I don't think I think I was, I don't know, I didn't sleep at all.
Yeah.
I was like,
you're
wide
just so
awake.
nervous.
Dude, that was fun.
It was a good show though.
But yes, dude, Warriors.
Yeah.
That was Warriors were one of those bands where like I love. It's like the same thing, but like in punk and like the punk rock scene is like Voodoo Glow Skulls. They'd bring all the like the cholo punk rockers.
Yeah.
And I didn't know because I didn't know that was a thing.
Hey, you a rocker fool?
Yeah. And then
You're a rocker fool, huh?
and then for the Warriors, it was rad seeing like dudes out there with the socks and the slides swinging.
There was I remember getting a Warriors windbreaker. It was like black windbreaker with like silver print on the front and the back, just the Warriors.
The foil print was so in back.
It was
back
the
then.
foil print, yeah. And I rocked that legit through like almost my entire career with Creative Void. Like that was my show. Like the way that Mike wears windbreakers for everything, that was like I would put it over hoodies, everything. That was just like my tough guy jacket.
Do you guys remember, Like It or Not, put out like a foil print hoodie? It was like a Nike logo and it said LION on it, and it was like the sickest hoodie.
Yeah,
Dude, oh my god, I wish I had it. That was when I was like a size large. Yeah.
Dude, I was talking about this the other day. I still remember To Die For clothing, buying a size small To Die For shirt and wearing that for the longest time. Now a small wouldn't even go over my head. Like I can't even imagine trying to wear that right now.
Yeah. I still remember the day when I had to start buying larges.
It was a hard day for you, huh?
And then XLs.
Dude, yeah, it's tough. It's tough. So all right.
Yeah.
All right, so then and now. So I'm gonna just say we're gonna just be real lame about it and be like, I'm gonna say what it is, think about it for a couple seconds, and then I'll just count us off. 3, 2, 1, and we say it.
Yeah.
Got it.
All right, so this is not us. This is just shows in general.
Okay.
And we're gonna just say then, now. So moshing, just moshing at shows. Then or now.
As in what?
As in, like, do we think moshing is harder
Like people mosh
then
harder
or now? Sorry. Oh yeah, sorry.
So
Is
do people
moshing
mosh harder now?
Then or now?
Okay.
Ready? Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Then.
Now.
Now?
Really?
Now. Only because dudes are more likely to fight now instead of like picking each other back up.
Okay.
And the crowd killing is a lot worse than
You
it was.
think so?
then. I think so.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, yeah, I think so.
I think I'll forever be scarred of the first time I saw like true crowd killing, and that was when I saw Donnybrook.
Well, yeah. Okay,
And,
that's fair. Yeah. But I think but back then I think that was on those, like when you were dealing with.
Whereas right now it could be like a
FSU.
pop punk band.
Yeah,
and people
that's
crowd.
true.
Yeah, yeah. So now it could just be like Burner State can be playing, and there's a dude running around like punching people in the face.
Yeah.
It's become like a let me see how many fights I can get into versus like back then we would just fuck everybody up, but then afterwards it was still cool.
Yeah,
right.
Like you were everybody too.
Yeah.
Good point.
I still stand by my then.
Yeah.
Okay. If you were to mosh at a show, would you mosh harder then or now?
All right.
3, 2, 1.
Now. Now.
I know, really.
Yeah, I think, and I was thinking about this. I think for me, I was always so nervous, and like afraid to hurt someone, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever hurt anyone back then.
I just didn't want to. I didn't want to hit anybody.
Yeah, nah, I wouldn't give a fuck. I don't think.
Yeah. Now I don't like. I'm old enough that I'm like, fuck it.
Yeah. If you took that personal, it's on you.
Yeah. Now, will it break my body down way more now? Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
It's gonna fuck. I'm gonna feel it for the next 2 weeks.
Will I mosh now? No.
No, I definitely say then. So I remember one time I was at like a show at Chain, and I guess I hit a dude in the nose and I broke it. And I didn't know that I did it. And I just kept on moshing, and some guy was like telling me, "You need to calm down." And I'm like, "What the fuck did I do?"
Yeah.
So it turns out the guy was like laid out and all bleeding and stuff. I think it was during like a Sleeping Giant show or something. And so I go outside, and the dude's like covered in blood. He's like, "Hey, bro, could I take a picture with you?" And I have the photo, and I'll send it to you. So this dude just busted, and like I felt so bad.
Dude, send me that. I'll literally put it on the episode.
Yeah, I felt so bad.
That's real,
Poor
dude.
guy.
That's like a different time.
Actually, I think he follows me like on Instagram now.
Hell yeah.
I think his name is Jason.
Hell yeah. What's up, bud?
Yeah, man. Yeah, definitely. Then I feel like so at what was it, Face Down Fest 2018 or so. I was moshing first song, first band, and I broke my arm. And I think after that,
Keep going?
Like, no, dude, I was done. I actually went to work the next day, and I was like, "Fuck, dude, my arm hurts," and I thought it was like sprained or something. So I went to go get frozen yogurt, and I put my hand like on the lever, and I pulled it down. And when I did that, my arm ended up snapping. So like I had to go to the hospital. It was pretty bad, man. Yeah.
Shit.
So yeah, that's the day that I gave up moshing.
That's fair that your answer is what it is then, because you probably moshed way more than we did.
Yeah.
You guys were playing, I was moshing. That's probably what it would have been.
I think it was more of like a crowd surfer.
Yeah, I preferred like stage dives or like,
me too.
you know. I mean, I had my scene kid moments for a little bit where I'd go out there and two-step or like do the stupid mosh dances and stuff like that. But
Picking up the pennies.
yeah, eating the soup type shit.
Yeah, I think if any time I did any kind of moshing, I was very intoxicated.
I had a few solid spin kicks in my repertoire. Now will my body do it? Probably not.
Oh yeah. So I was sore after emo night, jumping up and down. I
Dude, right.
definitely couldn't handle it now.
There was a moment where like right when we first started, like for Addicted, like the chorus comes in, and I'm like, and start jumping. I'm like, whoo, I can't sustain this. This is not gonna last for 45 minutes.
By the way, you kicked my liquid death. I had it on like the monitor, and I think you just like kicked it off. And I'm like, I was like talking to Ty, then I looked, and it was gone. I was like, damn, dude. It was
you
like
talking about up front in the front?
Yeah.
No, what happened was I went to go stand on the monitor, but I didn't realize it wasn't like strapped down, so it went forward, and I like caught myself.
like a
but I
full
think the water.
Sorry, man.
Don't think the water went. I apologize.
I like looked at Ty, talked to him, and then I like turned my head and went back. I'm like, dude, what the fuck just
Is
happened?
that why there was all that water on the ground?
Yeah.
Ah, fuck.
Yeah.
I was like, what asshole spilled their drink? Me. I'm the asshole. It wasn't even mine.
That's funny. All right, this is kind of I don't know, kind of just grabbing now, but was sound at shows better then or now? Shit. Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Now. I think now.
We've figured out how to make like low grungy guitars sound
That's true.
crisp and clean. Like figured out miking technique. I feel like all my answers are gonna be now. But
I was saying then, but as I'm thinking about it now, because I think I'm like pulling on like burner state shows.
yeah.
Because we're always like,
Yeah,
is there a
with little
PA tonight? Is there a
shitty
PA
PAs.
tonight? Like,
But I mean, how many shows did you go to where they're like, what the fuck is up, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And you're like,
What's up, Denny's?
what's up, Denny's?
yeah, that's very true.
I think, okay, I guess that does kind of come with like, if you play a venue, like an actual venue, sound is better now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're playing little bars or like house party shows, then yeah, it was probably way better back then.
yeah.
All right. Band merch.
'Cause-
3, 2, 1.
Then.
I'm gonna say now,
Yeah.
but there's a caveat to it. I feel like the designs were way better then, but the quality of merch is better now.
Yeah. I said that.
Like, and the collabs and stuff like that. Like you can get like a Carhartt Terror shirt or something like that, or like they've become more fashion driven to where it's not just like a fucking Gildan shirt that's all itchy and big. But the designs, the designs were way better then.
Yeah. I feel like
I feel like people have gotten lazy with merch now. It's just.
I mean, there's like shirts that I just remember, or like hoodies. Animosity had a dope one too back then. It was like the full print too. Like I said, like the Like It or Not one, that was dope. Yeah, man, I think there was some pretty sick stuff out there back then.
I just remember like before I realized what it was, just seeing everybody with like a lion shirt that had a Nike logo on it. I'm like, what the fuck
Be
is
true
that?
to your
And then
crew.
I figured out, I was like, oh, got it.
It's when like youth crews and all that stuff was like so big. Were you guys in a crew?
No.
No, never. Were you? He was.
I was.
Which one?
It was called My Brother's Keep.
Huh?
It's from Whittier. Yeah, man.
Nice.
We used to beef with like dudes from Downey. It was like the dumbest thing.
Wait, so if fights go down at the Green Turtle or whatever? Or is
Yeah,
it-
dude, I almost got
Dude.
jumped at the Green Turtle one time. Oh,
I played we played the Green Turtle once and nobody was there, and the dude was like, well, it's because we're competing with Amir down the street, and I was like, well, then what are we doing?
Yeah, where are we going?
Why are we doing this? Like,
where was Amir playing at? I'm wondering.
I don't know.
In Whittier.
but apparently it was the same night, and it was like the tickets were the same price. Like I'd go see Amir too.
You're like, is the show still going on?
Yeah, is that show still happening?
Do I have
Can I
time?
make it?
Do I have time? That's funny.
All right, last one. This is kind of a funny one because it felt like an easy one for me, but as I've been thinking about it, it's become harder. Band demos, or I'll just say unsigned band CDs. Are they better now or then?
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Then. Absolutely then.
Dude, I don't know. I don't know what it is like. So I definitely like a good quality recording.
Yeah.
Like I love a good quality recording. But for whatever reason, an older, like there's a couple bands in San Diego that I had like just sort of like demos from or EPs from, and like those things I still feel like they hit and they're fucking hard still.
I think a big part of it was that like nowadays, like now, right? Everybody has access to some sort of recording software, right?
Mm.
Like you can make a full record on GarageBand,
Yeah.
right? Does that mean you can do it?
No.
Probably not, right?
Yeah.
But everybody can go like, oh, I'll just program drums and I'll just like amp sims and we'll just DI everything and then get our vocalist in and record, right? Versus back then we had to go to, even if it was Blue Room, like shout out to Dustin, which later became Zombie Studios, like for what it was, like the fact that we could go there and get a pretty decent like demo out of there, like, that was, it sounded good sonically. But like you had to go to somebody who knew what they were, at least semi knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
Right? Otherwise, like you were just kind of fucked. You couldn't put out a hardcore record from your bedroom back then.
I feel like the feeling, especially for like if we're just going based on hardcore, I feel like for as crappy sounding as some of those older recordings are, I feel like you just get a lot more of the actual like vibe of the band, like the live sound of it. Like I feel like comes across a little more. But anyway, so that's it for that.
That's it for that little segment.
Little segment.
That was fun. That was a good one.
That's good, Mike. What else you got over there in that producer bag of yours?
I still have topics that we have from. There's I did have a question. I got it for last week's, but I didn't realize that it was in my message box rather as opposed to them sending it in. Who wins in a fight between a bear and a gorilla?
Oh. Shit.
Thank you, Kristen, for this question. Like,
Man.
biggest bear
Like-
versus biggest gorilla.
One-on-one, so like you're talking about like a silverback gorilla versus like a grizzly bear, right?
I got to go gorilla, dude.
I think gorilla too.
I think
Gorillas
gorilla
are-
too.
Yeah.
The one advantage is the bear has the claws.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? The claws. And they'll just straight maul you, but gorillas are fucking
Yeah.
terrifying though. Like they could like rip the limbs off.
You see those videos of like gorillas like toying with people and just showing you like I'm stronger
Yes,
than you are.
dude,
Yeah.
Just
terrifying.
like
And I think that's another key too. Like they're intelligent enough
oh yeah.
to do
definitely.
that, right? Like
Like-
they're intelligent enough to fucking.
Well, apparently, like gorillas are like they like rip your face off and shit. Like they tear you apart.
Have you seen the video where they put a mirror, like a
Yes.
shatterproof mirror in the
And he's ready
basically
to
in the
fuck
jungle?
up the mirror.
And this gorilla comes in, and dude, he is like, he's seeing his reflection, and he's thinking it's like it's an opponent, right?
Yeah.
And he is like dude, it's terrifying.
Yeah.
Like he's beating on his chest and like slamming into the fucking mirror. Like I gotta pull the video up. It's so scary.
Yeah, it is.
It's so scary. I think a gorilla for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Plus they got the grip, you know, like they could just latch on.
You're screwed too.
Yeah.
Wait, where do you go?
Yeah, you're fucked.
Yeah.
There's no-
You can climb a tree.
yeah.
You can swim.
Yeah.
Like.
Did you see, like, this is kind of like a random, now I don't know the full story, but apparently somebody was like mauled by a polar bear in a zoo because the lady jumped into the polar bear enclosure while they were feeding.
Them jumping in.
Yeah. So she jumped into the polar bear enclosure while they were feeding, and the bear like mauled her. They saved her. She survived, but she got fucking beat to hell by this polar bear. like, well, why'd you jump? Like, what the hell?
And now that bear's probably dead because she made the dumbass decision to dump it.
It's like that bear is not a vegetarian.
Right?
That bear is not vegan.
Yeah. That thing is used to like taking out strong, fast seals in the in the wild.
And
like,
right now, it's the choice between like a live, you know, killing or like you're just gonna hand me fish. Like, no, I'm gonna go after this. You know, that's terrifying.
So
Gorilla.
we can go into some of these. These are just
Random questions.
topics that we've just had have kind of sat on. Any near death experiences? And if so, how did they change you?
I don't know. For me, I don't know if it was necessarily near death, but I had a moment where I was on my bike and this lady just turned left in front of me. And
Motorcycle, when he says
motorcycle,
bike.
yeah. And so like I was riding and she just cut the left in front of me, but then instead of like going, she stopped because she saw me, and then so she just stops right in front of me, right? So like I hit my brakes and I start to go down like one way. I was able to like right the bike back up, but then I started leaning the opposite way, like left. So like my bike just basically went like from here to here. Ooh. And then I was able to save it, pull the bike up, and I literally stopped like right next to her car. Like had I not, like I would have hit her car, flipped over and gone over it. And I stopped, and dude, I was like fucking just shit. And I was like, why the fuck did you stop? Why didn't you keep going? She's like, oh, just like, she was like freaking. I was like, what the dude? So it was like terrifying. And ever since then, I'm a little more cautious, a little more like, but I don't know if I would have died, but definitely would have been some very, very rough injuries flipping over a car, and probably would have totaled the bike because I was probably going like 55, something like that.
Oh yeah,
enough to like it would have caused damage
to launch you.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, and that's bad, but I don't really wear gear, so just a helmet, but I don't have like the armor or anything like that. So,
wow, Michael,
I've gotten a little bit better. I bought a vest that does have the spine plate in it.
Good.
So I've got that, but yeah. Whereas my cousin comes out and rides with us, he's got like fucking shin guards, knee pads,
The whole shebang.
the whole thing, like armored jacket and shit. And I'm like, t-shirt and Vans.
I wonder if this might change because you're in a relationship now. But like Gerald, he's got like a family, so he's like geared up.
Mm-hmm. I did have a moment the other day where I was riding. I rode out to dinner, and then I was like, I should probably be a little more safe when I'm like riding, because now there's somebody at home like that. I'm like, yeah, I'll be home in a little bit, and then just never come home type deal. Yeah. So, and then Martin is fucking using that to his advantage. Like, hey man, why don't you just, you know, get rid of the bike and get a truck, dude. Like get a 70 C10. You know, every time I get something, you end up getting something, and I just bought this El Camino, so you can get it. I'm like, fuck, Martin.
It's a trap. It's a trap.
It's a trap.
Let's see. Actually had, I guess it's a near-death experience in like, what was it, like October? So I was at work, right? This was when I was with Budweiser. I was at an account, and I ended up leaving. The account. I had a headache, so I took like some Advil or some Aleve. It was Aleve. I took 2 Aleve, and then I went to like McDonald's to grab breakfast. So when I'm in line for McDonald's, I started feeling like super itchy, and like it started like in my balls, and I just like was scratching, but it was like I could not relieve the pain.
Like your groin.
Like I just couldn't stop it, and I started scratching, and then I started getting like itchy all over my body.
It usually starts in like your, like, what is it, like
Lymphs?
erogenous zones
Yeah.
or whatever. Like it's all hot.
So I felt it, started scratching, and then I'm like, dude, what the fuck's going on? Then all of a sudden, like my neck started getting swollen.
Oh.
So I'm like, dude, I think I'm having like an allergic reaction to something. And so I call my girlfriend, she's a nurse, and I'm like, hey, I think I'm dying. She's like, no, you're good. I'm like, no, like I'm having an allergic reaction. So I called my boss. I went to the ER. I get there, I park, and I'm on the phone with her like the whole time. I park, I get out of the car and I'm fine. But once I start walking, I start getting super lightheaded. So I get to like the counter and I tell her, I think I'm about to faint. And she's like, what? I'm like, I'm having an allergic reaction. I'm going to faint. So I fucking fall down and I like hit my head or whatever. And like they take me to, it was an urgent care. So they're like, yeah, dude, we can't fucking treat you here. So they had to take me to the ER. Luckily there was one next door. So they had to like give me like epinephrine and all that stuff. So yeah, dude. So apparently I'm allergic to like NSAIDs, so like anti-inflammatory medicine. So I can't take like Aleve and all that stuff anymore, dude.
Wow.
The other day my girlfriend was like, I had a headache. I'm like, oh, can you get me something? She's like, oh, you want to leave? I'm all like, come on, dude. Like you're a nurse. You're a nurse. Yeah, really? And she's like, oh my God, I'm sorry. But yeah, man. So I can't take Aleve anymore.
Is this like new, like a new onset thing? Or?
It just happened. That I mean, I used to take Aleve all the time.
Yeah.
I had it in my bag, and I just took it randomly, dude. Right?
Well, your allergies like cycle like every 7
Yeah.
years or something like that, right? Like so, your body, you know, for strong people,
Yeah.
you're not allergic to anything, but other people like,
Dude,
like
it was wild.
people have cat allergies, and then they turn around, they're no longer allergic to cats, and they have other allergies type things, so they rotate.
Yeah, so like I was in like the ER. She said I was singing like some random song. I think it was like Full House or something. She said I was singing the Full House song, and I was like, really? I don't remember that. And then I passed out like on the bed for like a bit, and yeah. So now I carry like an EpiPen everywhere I go.
Dude.
Yeah, man, wild. Shit. Allergies are no joke.
No, they're not.
Yeah,
Thankfully, with my allergies, I've never had like anything like life threatening like that. Like I've had asthma. I had like asthma attacks, but like, I don't ever feel like, oh, this could be.
Yeah.
But I've just always had just bad allergies, but that was kind of it. I guess my near-death experience and then the change that came from it was just our accident, and I think that really forced, I think, everyone in our band to just be like, we need to take a break.
Yeah.
And we should be okay taking a break, and kind of re-evaluating. Just stuff. And I think for me, like, I remember it was like a weird, I think we talked about this before, but I remember being on that last like European tour and just kind of having this like almost like an acceptance of like, we may not come back here. Like, this might be it for us to come back out here. And I remember just kind of thinking like really, not that we never like took it for granted or didn't make the most of it, but I definitely had a mindset of like appreciation and just enjoying it for, for what it was. And I think had that accident not happened, I feel like we would have had like a really ugly like breakup as a band. Like it would have gotten real heated.
Yeah, because everybody's just kind of burnt out.
Yeah, because we were already on edge. Martin had already quit once,
Yeah.
So I think that was good. I think it was good for us to kind of just, rethink things and, realizing there's some things we want to do. And that was the first time for me where I was just like, what I was able to step back and be like, what's been keeping me in this band as long as it was I was able to help, and I felt like we were doing that. And then I remember thinking like, I can still do this and something else. Like it's just not like, this isn't my only way to help. It's the most fun way to help, but it's not the only way.
Yeah. That's good.
Well, shit, man. Let's go ahead and say this. Like, if you are not yet, make sure to check out @WalkingblindPod on Instagram, on YouTube, on TikTok, which Mike never updates anymore with his sing-song stuff. WalkingblindPod@gmail.com. Make sure you check out Liquid Death. Do you want to plug any of your socials?
Yeah, man. @RawlXDawgg with 2 G's, DAWGG, I believe. RAWLXDA. I don't know. We'll post it later, guys.
Yeah, we'll post it. We'll find it.
Basically, especially since this has all been going down, if you see any posts that we do at least from Instagram, we probably have.
You probably have him tagged on there.
I'm tagged.
Yeah, probably.
And then we are also, like I said before, if you want to check like the the description on the show, we are going to put like the GoFundMe account on there. I know that like the funeral is done, but there's still other ways that we can help the family out for that as well. And then we'll also put the burner state information on there too. So this will be out before Friday, so we'll check that out. Yeah, man, it was fun, dude. Thank you for coming out and doing this. Dude.
This was really fun.
Yeah, I appreciate you doing this, dude.
We will see you guys next week. We love you guys. We're gonna have him back another time because it's fun.
It was fun, man.
Appreciate it, guys.
Later.
Have a good one.